Opening week on Root Sports is presented by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. I'm loving it. And welcome inside Coors Field. Game 2 of 81 that'll be played at home. The Rockies off to a 3-1 start as they take on the San Diego Padres once again tonight. Yesterday went exceedingly well, a 5-2 victory for the Rockies over the Padres to improve to 12-9 on opening days at home. Welcome everybody with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Tonight the Rockies will turn to John Garland, the veteran pitcher, the former guy who won 18 ball games with the Chicago White Sox, a World Series champion. He has not pitched in the big leagues in a year and a half because of shoulder surgery, though.
Well, I think the big concern obviously would be the health issue, how far he can get into the season when innings start to mount. He did go out and pitch pretty good in spring training, absolutely well. And when he got released by the Mariners, the Rockies jumped on him, and I think it was a great jump because this guy's won 132 games. It hadn't been an accident he won 132 games. A lot like Jeff Francis, he knows how to pitch both sides of the plate. You're going to see command of the fastball down early in counts, swing and miss type slider. He'll mix in a changeup, occasional curveball, but mostly it's sinker slider, bottom half of the zone. He really gets his defense into the game.
And other than the Giants, he's pitched for everybody else in the division. So he's facing a former team tonight in the San Diego Padres. We'll talk long ball when we come back. The Rockies are hitting them with great frequency out of the gate this year. He leads the club in home runs with 3. The Rockies off to a 3-1 start. Welcome back, Drew Goodman, George Frazier. In fact, the Rockies have hit 10 long balls in the first 4 games. There's only one other team in baseball that can match that, and that's the Cincinnati Reds. What's going on?
I think they got the swagger Dante's been looking for. To be honest with you, they really believe in their hitting coach, and he has pushed it off on them. Come out on this field with some swagger, some arrogance, and act like you're going to knock the cover off the ball whether you're going to or not, and carry it out on the field with you. It will have an effect on the opposition, and so far, it has.
Well, Willeen Rosario hit another long ball yesterday. We go now to our center field set and check in with our other colleague, Jeff Houston. The long balls really shouldn't surprise anybody because truly 1 through 8 in the lineup, Jeff, this is a powerful lineup.
Well, it is. I was talking to Dante Bichette today during batting practice, and he was just marveling at the guys and how they go about their business during batting practice. And they really don't try to hit home runs there, but he said something interesting to me. He goes, this club has sleeper power. I said, sleeper power? I've never heard this term before. And he goes, yeah, if you fall asleep, they'll hit it out on you. And so that's what the pitchers are looking at. They say, okay, we're through Carlos Gonzalez, or we're maybe through Troy Tulowitzki or Michael Gadire. But then in the 7th spot, you have Willeen Rosario, Chris Nelson in 8th, of course, Dexter Fowler at the top. So don't fall asleep on these guys, or they'll hit it out. And let's hope they hit a few more out tonight, Drew.
Yeah, there's not a Punch and Judy group, is there? Everybody goes deep. The Rockies looking to make it 4 of 5 to start 2013. Colorado, San Diego. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. On Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. Taking the field the way you're supposed to. Striding it to your spot, Michael Kadire. So the Rockies set to take on the Padres, second time of 18 encounters this year between their friends from Southern California. And here's the Southwest batting order for Bud Black. Everett Cabrera will be up top, then Will Venable, Carlos Quentin, Yonder Alonso pinch hit late yesterday. Jed Jerko will bat 5th, the rookie third baseman. Alexi Amarista in the lineup at second base. Cameron Maben at center. Nick Huntley again doing the catching. And 6'6" Tyson Ross is on the hill. And John Garland, one of the interesting things for me, George, is that Garland's a name that we've heard about for a long time. He's won 132 games to big leagues. He's just 33.
Just 33 years old. Very accomplished an awful lot in his mid-20s, winning 18 games twice with the Chicago White Sox. An all-star. He'll pitch them into the World Series as champions. And again, this is a guy that knows how to pitch, and the arm hurt. I mean, the last time you watched him pitch, he was pushing everything to the home plate area. Couldn't raise the elbow up much. or the shoulder up very high to get the proper work done. And when he got surgery and he took a year off, rebuilt everything, came to spring training in great shape. Did a really nice job for the Seattle Mariners. A opt-out clause allowed him to come over to the Colorado Rockies. 3 starts here at Coors, 101, 405 earned run average.
Today's defense is brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so that you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Cargo Dexter, Michael Kadire, left to right, and the infield the same as it's been 4 or 5 occasions this year. Nelson, Tulowitzki, Rutledge, and Helton. Willeen Rosario's behind the plate catching John Garland. So we're ready for a little hard ball at 20th and Blake. Everett Cabrera, native of Nicaragua. In fact, he's twice been named that country's Athlete of the Year last year, back in 2009. Rockies have a player now from Nicaragua. Wilt Lopez is from Nicaragua. First pitch, 87-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball at the bottom of the zone. And it's 0-1. Chris Nelson shortened up. And now with 2 strikes, Nelly can drop back to a more conventional defensive position. John Garland, as George mentioned, twice has won 18 games in his career. The 05 world champion White Sox. And he did it again the next year in 2006 when he went 18-7 for the White Sox. Between 02 and 09, I mean, you could pencil him in for 32, 33 starts and well over 200 innings. His career high is 221 innings.
He's a guy that really typically goes through short innings. In other words, he's not going to have a lot of pitches per inning. He likes to get the ball on the ground, put the defense in play. His 1 start in spring training for the Rockies, he had 13 ground ball outs. That's something you're trying to accomplish now if you're in the Rockies pitching staff.
1-2 and a 1-hopper easy play from Tulowitzki. That'll bring up Will Venable. Bill Guyvet, who's in charge of Major League operations for the Rockies, had this to say recently about John Garland.
It's exactly what we wanted at the time. He's a veteran guy. He's pitched here before. He's good at putting the ball on the ground, and we're really looking forward to it.
This is toward the gap in left center field. Will Venable can really run, and he'll round second and stop there. So it's a 1-out double for Venable. Doug Marino, with his natural impeccable timing, handing me a note that Venable was 0 for 8 in his career, George, against John Garland.
Well, he changed the luck immediately. That's exactly what it was. A little elevated, fading fastball more than a sinking fastball. Venable did a really nice job taking the ball into that off gap, and then it was off to the races.
And that'll bring up Carlos Quentin. Rockies got 6 very good innings from Jeff Francis yesterday. 2 solid innings from Adam Ottavino and a strong 9th from Rafael Betancourt. In fact, the Padres had just 7 hits, 2 outs.
Ball hit pretty hard too by Quentin. This is a strong man up at the plate. Tulowitzki 1 step over, just backhanded, even though it was in the center of the body. Nice throw over to first base and retire Quentin.
And the reason you do that, George, as you well know, is that when in doubt, go backhand when you're moving to your right, because you can't go the other way.
Very difficult to do that, but if you can get the ball centered, obviously you'd like to see the front side up in front of it, but a nice job by Tulowitzki there.
2 outs, Yonder Alonso at the plate.
One RBI, that came on a solo shot for Alonso.
And Alonso offered at that, so it's 0-1.
Somebody barking early at Gary Darling. He had the Had the ugly look into the Padres dugout.
Venable doubled. He's at second with 2 outs just underway at Coors Field. Good pitch. Got him in front. And it's 0-2.
9 pitches, 8 strikes. This is what you're talking about. A guy that just pounds the strike zone. And this time got way up on top of the breaking ball, but threw it for a strike. Would have been called a strike regardless. Way out on his front foot. Alonso, a dead red fastball hitter.
See where they work 0-2. Buried a breaking ball. And that's a great job again, George. Not only blocking the ball, but blocking it where it deadens right in front of you.
Well, they've done a lot of work on trying to get to the position of where they can keep the ball out in front of you and not have it ricochet away from you. Those are the biggest things, making your body soft.
A lot of work with Jerry Weinstein.
Yeah,
As we discussed yesterday, Jorge Torrealba doing a lot of work with him.
Don't forget about what Torrealba's doing with him, also more of an in-game type coach. Really helps him out quite a bit.
2-2. Here's Jerry.
The difference between a guy like John Garland, not saying this is what he will do here, but him and a young pitcher in a 3-2 fastball count, a lot of times they would go to the off-speed pitch here, or excuse me, fastball here in a 3-2 count, where you have a right-hander in the on-deck circle. A veteran like Garland could go back to that because he has confidence in it.
And he got him on another breaking ball, as you suggested, George. Good inning for John Garland. Gave up the 1-out double to Will Venable, and he strands him at second base. We'll lead things off. He's hitting all 4 games so far. He's got a .333 average, 3 home runs. Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. Josh Rutledge again will be in the 2-hole. Then Cargo, Tulo, Kadire, Helton, Rosario, Nelson, and John Garland. On the hill for the San Diego Padres, Tyson Ross. He came over in an all-season trade from Oakland.
Well, a big right-hander that struggled a year ago. 2-11, made 13 starts, 73 1/3, gave up a bunch of hits, 96 hits to be exact. Not many strikeouts. He does have the walks. Kind of a low 3/4 slingy type action. It gets long, then back to quick. strikes has been a little bit of a problem. He can run the ball into the low to mid 90s. That first offering, 95.
Yeah, he's got a big arm. I was talking to Stu Cole about him. He saw him quite a bit in AAA because he's back and forth. And he said that when he's on, the ball moves a great deal. His fastball, his breaking pitches. He went to Cal Berkeley, and now he's reunited with his brother. There's a 5-game hitting streak now for Dexter. His brother was the Padres' #1 pick a couple of years ago, a high school son.
Fourth season for him to battle around the big leagues off and on. 21 total starts, 6 and 18. You see those numbers.
And Rutledge fouls it off. The Rockies haven't done a lot of base swiping in the early going because they've been trotting around the bases primarily. In fact, they've attempted to steal only 1 base. That was Eric Young Jr., and he was thrown out. Dexter just 12 of 17 last year. Set career highs virtually every offensive category but stolen bases.
Unlike last year, did a pretty good job, 32%. This year he's 0 for 2.
Who wants tacos? Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. 2-strike count on Rutledge. He is a guy that you can run on because of that high leg kick.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. You're right. High leg kick has tendency to fall off. Plus, the other side of it is, you get into a breaking ball count with him, he has a tendency to snap it in the dirt a lot. You can advance off that. So you just got to be prepared with it. I want to throw over to first base. Not only trying to change things up a little bit, that thumb flip. In the old days, that used to mean to flip the player at the plate with a pitch. Yeah, it means throw to first base. Thinking about which way to go with Josh Rutledge. Going to flip again. They're going to go to first base. You know, to me, it's kind of amazing, too. You got a base stealer at first, or a guy with speed. I mean, he's not somebody who's proven to be a 20 base stealer guy, but obviously a guy that can. And yet, you got to be told to throw over there. You should step off and do some things on your own. Asking for the slider, but wants it for a strike. Left it in the middle of the plate.
Good job by Dexter, really getting into Amarista. The little things. Good, hard, clean baseball, though.
Jerko comes with the play here as he stepped over into the other side of it. Dexter read that, kind of popped up and got his hip into him to prevent a strong throw to first base.
Watch, guys are going to come and give him a high five as he gets to the dugout. There you go.
Keep the big fella in the stretch out on the mound.
And you got speed at first base. 7 for 7 last year, stealing bases in Rutledge. And a called strike from Gary Darling on Cargo. Cargo likes these kind of matchups more. We were chatting about it during batting practice today. A guy who's, you know, proud of his fastball. It should be. I mean, he's throwing 95, 96.
Like to show it off a little bit. Yeah. And you got a big arm. That's the problem, though. If you can show it off and command it, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
Two and one on Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo cooking at home, and you should hit well at Coors Field, and he's taking full advantage. Rutledge dives back in. Again, OPS is a combination of on-base percentage plus slugging percentage. Slider again, it's in there, 2-2. One on and one out, bottom of inning number one, no score. Tonight's defense brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so that you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Maven centered with Venable to his left and Quentin to his right. And it's an infield to Jerko, Cabrera, Amaristo, Alonso, Nick Hundley doing the catching. Jerko started at second base yesterday. Boy, Tyson Ross, George, looks the part. 6'6",
230 pounds.
Yeah, big, strong kid. And he's still a kid. He's 25.
He's 25 years old. I mean, he's had some time in the big leagues now, and that's the Padres hoping in a low-cost type deal that he figures it out with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Last slider offered at 88.
A lot of work this spring with Darren Balsley trying to clean up that delivery. There goes Rutledge high, and Hundley had trouble getting it out of his glove, and Rutledge easily swipes second. So that's the Rockies' first bag of the year.
Well, it's all about jump, and he got a huge one. Pitched well up out of the strike zone that Hundley had to come up and reach up to get. But the jump over at first base, head down, going strong into second base, throw off line. Now you got a spot with one out and a runner at second, and Gonzalez up.
Yeah, Josh Rutledge, I've said this a bunch, really has good speed. You would think with his instincts, which are very good also, he'll be a 20-plus stolen base guy. Outside, ball four. That's a good AB by Cargo. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches down and in. He goes to first, and they're two on for number two, Troy Tulowitzki. We say this so frequently, George, through the years. No matter what happens here, you're starting to run a kid's pitch count up, and then you get the bullpen earlier, and we all know the effect of that.
Yeah, 16 pitches so far in this, and then you get into that bullpen area. There's a reason guys pitch in the fourth, fifth, sixth inning. You're not good enough to pitch 7, 8, 9 with a lead. So if you can get into that area of the bullpen, you can even tack on to more damage than you've done early in the game against the starting pitcher.
Tulo had the biggest blow of the game yesterday after a Cabrera error. He made the Padres pay with a 2-run double to deep left center. Ball one on Troy. Off to a fabulous start, 375 average. A couple of home runs. He's driven in 6. It's tied for the National League lead, Ribbies, in the opening days of the 2013 season. Here's the 1-0. High fly ball foul and out of play.
You got 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the mound. The big key is just be quick enough to keep it in fair territory. He's going to supply a lot of power for you because of the velocity.
Walt Weiss and his bench coach Tommy Runnels discussing strategy. Great speed on base. Rutledge at second. On a fielder's choice. Cargo just walked.
He must show a pretty good breaking ball because that's two swings. One by Gonzalez and one by Tulowitzki. Looked really fooled by the pitch. It does have a lot of velocity, but this tells you when he gets on top of it, kind of has that disappearing act.
It looked like it backed up too, didn't it, George?
It backed up a little bit, which is a tough pitch to hit. But I mean, maybe Tulowitzki's swing indicative of a guy looking to try to hold up on the pitch.
Dyer will be next. The Padres as an organization have been very pleased with Tyson Ross. So he's very coachable, got a high aptitude.
It took a little time for failure. Threw hard, 2-11, and something went wrong. You know, this is you're not getting the results you think you should, or we should think you should get, I should say. And, you know, the thing is, let's try some different things and listen to some suggestions. They're here to help, not hurt.
Two and two. In the air to right. Venable waiting. And Rutledge will tag and move up. Rockies fans, this season, we want to answer your questions on air during Toyota Talk in the 5th inning. Text Toyota followed by your question to 720-720 and watch as your questions are answered during the 5th inning of every ball game. First-time texters, automatic winners. They'll get a free one-day pass to the Denver Zoo, courtesy of your neighborhood Toyota stores. Off the plate, ball one on Kadire. He was 0 for 5 on opening day in Milwaukee, 6 hits and 11 ABs since. Line drive, base hit right field. Michael Kadire coming through. 1-0 Colorado.
Just what you're talking about. That was a nasty pitch from Ross. Fastball outside corner, 94. Had some late cut to it. Instead of trying to pull that pitch, veteran hitter Kadire just goes opposite field with it. And there wasn't anything but a great swing put on this baseball by Kadire. Looking right, going right, and then all of a sudden the ball shoots into right field. You get an RBI out of it. His 4th on the season. Set it up for Mr. Helton with a runner in scoring position.
Todd takes a strike. He took the collar yesterday. He was 0 for 4. He was remarking the other day that he may have had the best finish to a spring in those final days when you're preparing for the start of a season and you're really starting to ramp things up of his career.
Think about what he did, though. Think about how many 7 straight hits in a row, the home runs, the doubles, everything.
Right.
I haven't seen that out of him in a long time.
And as you said, George, they weren't just, bloop singles. I mean, they were rockets off the wall and out of the ballpark to the opposite field. That's pulled foul. Todd will have to get a new piece of lumber. Todd, we told you the story years ago was drafted out of high school, out of Knoxville Central in the second round by the Padres. And they tried like crazy to get him to sign. They came very close. In fact, Todd had to hide out at Grandma's house at one point, and he's tormented them ever since. 273 hits, more hits against San Diego than any other team. He's hit 31 career home runs against the Padres. One, two. And Cargo's going to try to move up, and he will. So will Michael Kadire. Read the ball in the dirt, and now if Todd can come through, strong likelihood the Rockies pick up a pair of runs.
Yesterday when the Cabrera made the error, it opened up the doors for 3 runs. Now you've got a ball that bounced away from Hundley, a difficult pitch, hard slider down and away. He's setting up on the opposite side of the plate. Everybody advances, so now one mistake of not having a blocked ball could help you score 3 here in the first.
Way outside.
I'll say this for Nick Hundley behind the plate. He's got to work on blocking both sides and rotate pretty good. 28 pitches so far, 16 strikes and 12 balls.
We're really impressed with the kind of spring he's had. But he's in danger of having a really rough first inning. 3-2 on Helt. Gonzalez at third, Kadire at second, a run in already. If you're wondering if anybody's ever had more hits against San Diego than Helt, 2 guys, 2 pretty good players.
I've got a feeling Helt may pass that other guy.
Yeah, the hit king, and then Barry Bonds. I think I'm going to bet on Todd getting more than 2 hits this year against San Diego. This at times, George, could be a difficult part of the evening to hit it. It's kind of dusk. The lights haven't taken over. And
he got a short, quick arm, a guy you haven't seen a lot, standing out on the mound right now too. And Ross is kind of works hand in hand, just what you're talking about. I tell you, typical Todd Helton at bat. Fight off, and he may not win the battle. The kid's at 31 pitches already. But Black's just kind of pacing back and forth. I think he's not the guy he wants to see up at the plate right now, and he really don't want to see that guy in the on-deck circle, Rosario.
another 3-2. And Helton wastes that one also. Next pitch will be number 10 to Helt, and the 33rd pitch from Tyson Ross here in the bottom of the first inning. Yeah, he's gone away. He's gone away again. He went slider, and now he came in at 94.
Trying to keep everything away from Todd, though, on that outer half of the plate, thinking he could get it by him on that outside half, versus trying to challenge inside, which he's only done 3 times.
And Helton hits it on the ground to Alonso, and he'll get to the bag. The Rockies get a run on the Michael Kadire single to right. 1-0 through 1 frame. Garland getting set to begin his second inning of work. Today's sideline report is brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company. Secrets in the fire, it's a ready-to-eat superfood. And with that introduction, here's Jenny Kavnar. Jenny?
Hey, Drew. Today, the Rockies executed a trade for Ramon Hernandez after designating him for assignment a week ago. They finally traded him today to the Los Angeles Dodgers. In exchange, they got $1 million in cash to take away from a little bit for that $3.2 million salary of Hernandez. Plus, they got Aaron Harang, but as soon as the trade happened, Aaron Harang was designated for assignment. The Rockies, they like Harang. However, they feel they have the right pitchers right now.
Aaron Harang's been a real good major league pitcher, but yeah, I think it sends a message that we like our guys down there. We've got some really good arms down in Colorado Springs.
In talking to Senior VP of Major League Operations, Bill Guyvet, today, he said that there's some interest out there for Harang from other clubs. He's talked with Harang's agent. They now have 10 days to try and make another trade with Harang. So we may be talking more trade talk here in the next week or so. Quick funny story with Cargo today. Carlos Gonzalez was having a conversation with Ramon Hernandez actually on the phone this morning. He ended up hanging up, taking a nap, and right away Ramon called back and woke him up. Cargo answered the phone and said, "What's up? Why are you calling me, man?" And Ramon goes, "I just got traded to the Dodgers. We're enemies now," and hung the phone up. That's how true friends treat each other, right, guys?
That's how it works.
Friends outside the white lines, enemies inside the white lines.
Well, we wish Ramon Hernandez all the best. That's up the middle and on through, a base hit for Jed Jerko. Aaron Harang, a record of 105 and 104 in his career. Some good years with the Cincinnati Reds. Was with San Diego as well.
You can
John
count on
Lackey
him.
got hurt today.
Yeah, with Boston. I mean, you know, when somebody gets hurt like that, the speculations start flying about where they might go, or if there's a fit for Harang somewhere, and what are you going to get back for him?
Jerko's not really a base stealer. Alexi Amarista at the plate, and he hits it in the air to center field. This is a strange one today for the Red Sox. John Lackey made a pitch, and George, the way he was reacting, it's almost like his shoulder popped out. Then he was holding his bicep.
Yeah, he's got his hands on it right there, yeah.
Whatever happened, that did not look good. Cameron Maben at the plate. Just in a little bit. You know, looking back at some numbers on John Garland in terms of, you know, what he's throwing now. He's 87, 89 with his fastball now, and it's not dramatically different to his prime with the White Sox. He averaged 89 to 90 miles an hour on his fastball back when he was winning 18 games a season. I think a lot of times we assume the guy has shoulder surgery, moving up there in years, that there's a dramatic turn in terms of velocity, diminished velocity, and that's not really the case with Garland. He's always been a sinker baller.
88 to 92.
Here's a 2-0 on Maben.
Key was keeping the ball down on the ground. Hey, Green Packs, they're back. 2 tickets for $25 with $5 going towards planting trees. Those games available April the 7th, tomorrow, and the 16th.
Maben last year hit 8 home runs, but one of them he hit traveled 465 feet. Did that, 485 feet at Chase Field in Arizona. Probably hoping to get credit for a couple of home runs on that swing. You see Willeen going out and talking to John Garland. We captured some video late this afternoon of those two getting together. Remember, Garland's made only one start in a Rockies uniform. They're going over signals.
Good for Willeen to come over and sit down and talk to him about what he's seeing and what's going on, and then for Garland to trust the young catcher. So then regroup again, get back before, after he had warmed up. You know, now Garland's going over and talking to Willeen. This is what we, you know, because one thing for a pitcher you don't like is to stand on the mound the whole time and shake, 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 shake. You know, to be on the same page when you're out on the hill together.
See if Jerko takes off here. 3-2 with one out. He goes, and it's ripped to left. Cargo's got to go back, and he makes the catch. Jerko is going to easily return to first. That ball was lathered by Maben. Those are the kind that can tie up an outfielder. Kadires yesterday is a great example of that tied up Maben.
Well, I think Cargo didn't realize how hard this ball was hit when it was first came off of the bat. And then when he got back there to make the catch, staying up on his feet long enough to be able to get a hold of it, the other foot comes down and plants, and then just take a little slide on the grass.
2 outs, Nick Hundley. And Hundley pops it up, playable left side. Tulowitzki with a better angle. He's got it, and John Garland, after giving up the lead single, safely navigates the second inning. Rockies leading 1-0. One of the great opening day moments in Colorado Rockies history. In fact, only rivaled by Dante Bichette, his 14th inning home run on day one of Coors Field against the New York Mets. Willeen Rosario at the plate, ball one, facing Tyson Ross, who threw 34 pitches in that first inning. Rosario hitting a cool 500 through the first four ball games. 3 for him. He sat 1 out.
First pitch offering changeup. Now they're going to try the fastball away. Better not make a mistake middle half, or somebody might catch a souvenir in left field. High or low won't matter. Hard or soft, it won't matter. 90-98 isn't going to matter. There's the other breaking ball. Showed fastball well out of the zone. And this is the growing process he went through a year ago where he did a pretty good job. Yesterday, he got a slider that was flat up in the zone. He just crushed this thing out of the ballpark.
I was talking to Jason Marquis earlier. He said, I worked around that one. As soon as it left my hand, I didn't have a good feeling. 2-2. Slowly hit Yonder Alonso with a good feed to Ross, who finds the bag with one of those size 14s. That'll bring up Chris Nelson. Nelly 1 for 3 yesterday. Jeff was talking about his conversation with Dante Bichette earlier this afternoon. And there's usually a couple of groups, George, as you know, that are the big boys, and they're rattling the seats with home runs during batting practice. And then there's, you know, kind of the middle infield group typically. You know, they're spraying line drives, doing their thing, right? Well, when the Rockies hit, there is one of those Punch and Judy groups.
There's not many, if there's any. You know,
and maybe Johnny Herrera.
And yesterday he got a standing ovation for hitting a home run in batting practice from all of his teammates.
But I mean, Chris Nelson, Chris will go out from foul pole during spring training.
Well, that's the
during batting practice.
That's the beauty of this lineup. It can go deep an awful lot, and it's something that I don't think as a visiting manager you can rest easy until that third out in the ninth inning with a lead. Jeff said it best today, Jeff Francis. You know, we still feel confident we can win a ball game down 3 in the middle of the game or even beyond the 5th or 6th inning. So, you know, you got your pitching staff, and after a wonderful job by Jeff yesterday, pitching staff believe in that. Trust me, the hitters believe that.
2-2. 3-2. You saw Johnny's stats a moment ago. 3 home runs last year. George, we watch batting practice virtually every day. Johnny may not have hit 3 out at BP all year. Saved game time pop. We started calling.
It's funny, and I saw him on a rehab down in Arkansas. He was playing for Double-A, and Felipe Paulino, a guy that was here, pitched for us, a 97-mile-an-hour heater, and he hit it out in the parking lot down there.
Is that right?
In the first inning, and I was like, Johnny, you're getting a little carried away now. Don't start thinking you can leave the yard on a regular basis like that.
Here's another 3-2 on Nelly, and a good at bat for Chris Nelson as he goes to first. I'll bring up John Garland. Second walk allowed by Ross. Have auto glass damage? Call Safelite Auto Glass, America's vehicle glass experts at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Garland fouls off his first bunt attempt.
And he's a guy that's been in the National League. I mean, majority of his career American League, but National League last 2 or 3 years. Should be able to handle the bat to bunt.
He was the player of the year in the state of California his junior year and senior year in high school, Granada Hills. And like the guy who's facing him, he's 6'6". Good butt. 2 outs. Nelson in scoring position for Dexter Fowler. Dexter singled his first time up. Today's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Colorado's the first national league team since the '03 Pirates to hit at least 2 home runs in each of its first 4 games of a season. And the only other time the Rockies have done it was 2001. Again, along with the Cincinnati Reds, they lead baseball with 10 home runs.
Starting to see why Tyson Ross a year ago, 13 starts, 18 overall games, only pitched 75 innings.
This is no doubter. Walt was talking about his power this afternoon. He said he goes up in the upper deck on occasion. He goes, that's for where the big boys go. And he said his power is really surprising.
That's a long swing. Generates a lot of bat speed through the zone. Continuing what I was saying about Ross, he's already at 50 pitches. I mean, that makes it difficult for a manager. He's not even in the 3rd inning yet. He's at 50. There's the backstop.
On the swing. That's a strike on the swing, but it's also a wild pitch, allowing Nelson to move to 3rd.
Well, that's that backstop, 44 feet now, 2nd shortest in all of baseball behind Wrigley Field. You see this ball shoot between the legs of Hundley, which that should not have happened. I know it's be termed a wild pitch, but the ball's got to get blocked, and it ricocheted right off the bricks almost halfway back to the mound.
Breaks off one of those sliders, George. Even if it's a swing and a miss, it kicks away. The way Dexter runs, you could have an issue.
A lot of angles to deal with when it gets back there.
3-2.
I see a guy 6'6", 240 pounds. Nitpicking with the fastball tells me he doesn't have a lot of confidence in his fastball and the ability to throw where he wants to. You got a nasty mover like that on the changeup at 89 at 3-2 count. Wow.
Rockies lead 1-0. We're off to the 3rd. Out single from Michael Kadire. After watching the Rockies play tomorrow afternoon, stick around for Rockies Weekly. We'll spend some time touring the new changes at Coors Field. We'll celebrate the 20th anniversary of the classic movie The Sandlot as well, and recap the top plays from opening week. Don't miss Rockies Weekly tomorrow, right after the game. And no, tomorrow's game, it's new this year, on Sundays, the Rockies will be playing 2:10 baseball games, as opposed to in the past a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Tyson Ross will lead it off 9-1-2 here in the third for San Diego, and John Garland pours that pitch over for a strike. Ground ball to short, and Tulowitzki will throw out. Ross, one gone. Tulo's been busy. 4 chances in the game, 3 on the ground and a pop-up. All fielded flawlessly. Everett Cabrera will step up. You know, Cabrera stole 44 bases last year for the Padres, and this may catch you by surprise. The Padres now been around a while. He's the first Padre ever to lead the league in stolen bases. They've had some guys that can run. Mitchell Wiggins, Tony Gwynn early on could run.
Well, Gary Templeton, Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, there's 2 right there, huh?
As young kids, they could really run.
I'll give you another guy, and he's in the house right now. One of the all-timers in terms of good people in the game. Dave Roberts, the first base coach now for San Diego. Dave could fly. He stole 49 bases one year for San Diego, but that didn't lead the league. Cabrera takes a strike. It's 1-2. San Diego also had Ricky at one point.
Ricky was 40.
That's all right. Ricky can still run, George.
Got his 3,000 hit in a Padre uniform.
Just missed off the corner. See on the forward strike zone. Very close. Good call by Gary Darling. Easy play for Rutledge. Got him out front on a slider.
Yeah, big difference. Pound the strike zone. 32 pitches for John Garland. Tyson Ross well over 50. You know, right off the end of the bat, shattered, split it up, got a little firewood going. Fittable.
Oh yeah, why not?
Oh, you dropped your spoon.
5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She doesn't believe in the 5-second rule, George.
I know.
But Dad does. That's good. It's good, honey. Don't worry about it. That's a strike also. 0-2 on Will Venable. Venable stroked a double to left center field.
Oh, man.
Little cutter, George. See that?
He's got one. He'll throw a slider like that he just takes and runs in onto the hands. You know, when you get onto the slider, if you get off of it a little bit more, you'll get more cut action than you do actual slider action. You can elevate it, just eat up some hands.
George, they did a study once and they proved that 5-second rule is not a myth.
Who conducted that study?
I'm just saying. I don't know. Slow roller help.
I'm just asking you. Who conducted the study?
Strong inning for John Garland. It was the folks on Duck Dynasty.
Oh, I trust that one.
This was a severe violation of the 5-second rule, though. Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki to face Tyson Ross, the Cal product from Alabama. 1-1 on Rutledge. He scored the Rockies' first run. He reached on a fielder's choice, hit the ball on the ground to third, then stole second, but eventually scored on a Kadire base hit to right. Strike 3 on Rutledge. Second strikeout for Ross. That'll bring up Gonzalez. It'll also take us to our AT&T trivia question. Between 2002 and 2010, only 7 pitchers won more games in baseball than John Garland. How many of those guys can you name?
Wait till you see the list when it comes up.
Guys
Pretty
you've
good
heard
one.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, very good list of pitchers that have gone on. Most of them a lot of them are #1 guys on a staff.
Cargo walked his first time. Lengthy at bat. Shift is on for San Diego. You can see why Cargo attempted to lay down a bunt yesterday. And had that been fair, would have been an easy double. Tell you what, George, for a guy that throws 95, 96, he's starting to work backwards. We're seeing more changeups and sliders than heaters.
Had better command of those pitches. You got a veteran guy reading it, so obviously what he's doing is, all right, we're going to work ahead with the breaking ball stuff, then we can go fastball after that. He asked for the slider again. He's wanting it down there, just pancake it in the ground on him.
And Alonso will do it himself. 2 outs. Made a good pitch. Tulowitzki with 2 outs and nobody on. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level seats today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Nice night at the ballpark. Somebody said something funny over there. Starts Troy out with a fastball for a strike. Tulowitzki hit a high fly ball to right back in the first inning. To third, and that's going to eat up Jed Jerka.
Second base, the ball sure got there a whole lot longer than took some time to react to it, even though he's about 8 steps behind. It's a 2-hop backhand, and really not a bad hop, but I don't think he throws out Tulowitzki even if he catches it cleanly. That ball hit right off the heel.
And Troy awarded a base hit. So that'll bring up Kadire, who lined a single to right to drive in Rutledge, and the only run of this game. That was in the first inning. Yesterday, this is one of those Carlos Gonzalez type line drives that just keep carrying. Maben misplayed it, turned it into a triple. And Kadire, when he looked at Stu Cole after the game, he said, I was hoping Stu gave me the stop sign because I was out of gas.
He was done. Don't send me.
Stu said, I could read it when he got to second base. I was going to shut him down at third. He said, now if it was Dexter or EY or Rutledge, he goes, I was going to wave him on through. 2-2.
'69th pitch coming up.
Let's see if we can be lip readers here. Here's Kadaya arriving at third base. I didn't have anything left anyway. Tulo at first. Here's the 2-2 again. Kadaya 7 for his last 12 at the plate. He had his season cut short last year by that oblique injury, and then it became an epidemic because EY got it after Kadaya pulled a muscle in his side as well. And for a hitter, that takes a long time to come back from.
Not really any athlete, but particularly the hitter or even a pitcher, where you're trying to get that extension or the rotation of that. I mean, it's hard. He was kind of trying to sacrifice things. That's when you end up hurting yourself somewhere else. No reason to.
Three and 2. Troy's off with the pitch, and this ball's lathered to right, but Venable is positioned right where that ball was going to go. Rockies up 1-0. Tonight's Cooney Lexus look back. First inning, Michael Kadaya with 2 outs, drives the ball to right field, clean single, and Josh Rutledge can come on down. That's the only run of the ball game. Brought to you by Cooney Lexus on South Broadway in Littleton, where luxury has an address. Soon coming to Greenwood Village. That's a view from one of the many suites here at Coors Field. Quint Alonso Jerko, 3, 4, and 5 for the Padres to face John Garland, who has been very fine so far. Number of ground ball outs. And this ball is in the air to right center field. It's going to touch down, roll to the wall. It's going to be a leadoff double for Quint. Yonder Alonso stepping in.
One of the biggest things San Diego struggled with this year is runners scoring position. 162 is a team.
Strike on the corner. Alonso last year set a Padres rookie record with 39 doubles. Benito Santiago previously held the record. He had 33 doubles in Benito's rookie year of 1987. An athletic catcher he was. Here's the 0-1. 1-1. Overall last year, Yonder hit 273. 9 home runs. He drove in 62. Product of the University of Miami. We have that connection. He and Yasmani Grandal serving a 50-game suspension.
Seems like about once a week they catch someone. Minor league guys get caught quite a bit. I check that an awful lot. See who's down there doing some things they're not supposed to.
In the air, shallow left. Cargo's gonna have to field it on a hop. He was playing deep, and that's a Coors Field single.
Well, you got to honor the power of Alonso, that he can hit it to the opposite field, so you can't play shallow to be able to make a play like that. Not in this ballpark.
Let's answer the AT&T trivia question. Between 2002 and 2010, only 7 pitchers won more games than John Garland. Here's the list. Guys like C.C. Sabathia, Roy Halladay, Derek Lowe, Roy Oswalt, Johan Santana, Mark Burley, Andy Pettit. Guys that seemingly don't get hurt and are really good.
For a long time.
First and third, nobody out. Jed Jerko at the plate. Rockies naturally looking for 2 up the middle, leading 1-0. Block. 2-0 though. Here's that bloop single again off the bat of Alonso, and see if Tulowitzki could have made a play. It's kind of no man's land.
Nah.
That's exactly where it is. It's no man's land out there in short left field. Too deep for the shortstop, too shallow for the left fielder, even when you're talking about 2 Gold Glovers. So it's first and third, nobody out here in the 4th for San Diego. And the first 3-0 count. Garland was really trying hard to get that 2-seam fastball at the bottom of the zone and induce a ground ball, and he may have done it. I mean, he's right on that lower line of the Ford strike zone.
Well, nobody out and a runner at third. You're just trying to minimize your damage here. You don't want to turn this into another first-third situation.
And that ball just cut outside, and now the bases are loaded, nobody out for Alexi Amarista.
Pesky little hitter, too. This is a guy you don't see strike out much. Low to the ground, wide stance, quick hands, got a little pop in his bat. Just one of those guys like Altuve, not quite the hitter as an Altuve with Houston, but a very good hitter.
He was a guy they wanted, George, in the Frieri trade to the Angels last year.
Yeah, you can see, if you watch him play, you can understand why you'd like to have him.
Amarista, though, like Altuve, he goes up there to swing. Oh, man, that safe at first. If John Garland can field that, he's going to be able to come home and get a force out at the plate, and in all likelihood a double play on Amarista. Ball was hit just a little too high and too slow to turn it over. So it's a 1-1 game, and it's first and third.
He got right out over the top of that. Looked like backdoor slider coming in, but it's 6'6", just out of his reach. Good job by Tulowitzki. That's close play at first base. His arm strength got this thing almost in the favor of the Rockies. Hey, remember Maben last at bat scalded the ball to left field right at Gonzalez. Swung early in the at bat. Didn't allow the count to work in the favor of Garland.
Strike one.
Now this is where Garland made his money. This is putting the ball on the ground, getting the double play turn, minimize your damage, get out of the inning with only one.
Alonso's at third. Amarista at first. John Garland, as we look at Cameron Maben, John Garland missed a year and a half of big league time. We showed you the graphic earlier tonight. The last game he pitched was the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Colorado Rockies on June 1st of 2011. And shoulder surgery, missed all of last year.
Yeah, and he was really trying to gut it out at that time. I mean, he's pushing the ball to home plate. Didn't see his arm get on top of the ball at all. And the doctor ordered it.
Maben can fly, and he goes head first into the bag, but he was still out by a couple of feet. Well done by John Garland. Nice turn by Rutledge and Tulowitzki. He did indeed minimize the damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. Just a run comes in. New premium McWrap, I'm loving it. Concourse is busy. The Rockies in a 1-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Todd Helton to face Tyson Ross, and this ball's driven to deep center field. Maben going back will get there. And Todd gave it a ride. It is a long out. And Malin Rosario will come up with one out. Welcome upstairs with George Frazier. That's George. I'm Drew Goodman. Ross has a high pitch count. The Rockies have had him seemingly in trouble at times, but the last couple of innings seems like he's settled in. He's made big pitches.
Well, he's made big pitches, and it's been breaking ball. You made a nice little look-see a minute ago when you saw an awful lot of sliders, changeups, and curveballs, and then coming back with the fastball late. Tells me that he, not as much command with his fastball as he has had with his breaking ball. Now, he started Malin off with a pretty good fastball there at 94. But came back with changeup slider. See if he does that again on Malin. Malin hit a hard ground ball last at bat. See, there's the slider able to lay off him.
John Garland did a masterful job last inning, George.
Veteran. I mean, that's the best thing you could say about a veteran guy standing out on that hill. Minimize your damage. First and third, 1 out. First and third, no outs. Give up 1 run. That's a pretty good job of pitching.
2-1 on the baby bull. John Garland getting ready to hit. Jim Wright, pitching coach in the background.
I think Jim does a good job of getting involved in conversations in the dugout when he needs to. Otherwise, just go sit down. Go, you're pitching. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to come up and talk to you on every single pitch or after every inning to talk about what just went on. You know what just went on. Now, if I could see a mechanical adjustment, that's one thing. I think Jim does a good job of it.
Next inning's Toyota Talk. Here's how it works this year. Text Toyota followed by your question to 720-720. Watch as your questions are answered during the 5th inning of every ball game. First-time texters, automatic winners, will receive a 1-day free pass to the Denver Zoo. And that missed. All of that courtesy of our friends at Toyota. So with 1 out, Willeen goes to first. And that'll bring up Chris Nelson, who walked his first time. 3 walks allowed now by the big right-hander Tyson Ross. His younger brother Joe may be ticketed for Double-A this year. And a #1 pick.
They get tested a little quicker at a higher level. Once you start to succeed at Double-A and move very quickly to the big leagues at that time.
You want to hear an impressive number, George, on Chris Nelson? Last year, against the National League West. Last time I checked, good pitching in the NL West, right?
Mm-hmm. Really good.
3 tough ballparks to hit in.
Really good.
He had 331 last year against the West.
Pretty good numbers, obviously.
Strike count on Nelly. He's got to go into battle mode here. "82 pitches in for Ross. Due up next inning. Slowly hit to third. And Jerko didn't get it out of his glove. I don't think they would have been able to double up. Chris wasn't hit all that hard. And if nothing else, the Rockies will clear the pitcher, John Garland, here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, a couple of slow hops here, and he got over. Now watch when he got right there on the exchange, trying to get a good grip to get a very good throw in. You didn't get the grip, and then you extended. And, the nice part about this, Drew mentioned it, Garland's going to get up and swing the bat here.
Pretty good swing. Now the Rockies just played the Brewers, opening up the season at Miller Park. Aramis Ramirez last night hurt his knee sliding into second. He's got to go on the shelf.
Well, I'm telling you, they start losing guys like this. They've already got Hardy out of there. I mean, it's not in a good situation. Corey Hart, excuse me, out at first base. They've had to use about 4 different guys over there. Both of them been shortstops now that they've had to put over there.
Yeah, that's the protection for Ryan Braun, Aramis Ramirez. This is skied to shallow right center field. Maben makes the catch. That's all for the Rockies in the 4th. 1-1.
the sun is out, and we're ready finally to play ball. Base hit. First hit for the Colorado Rockies.
20 years ago, it all began for the Colorado Rockies organization, and this weekend, a celebration of that 1993 team. I'm with former pitcher for the Rockies, Bruce Ruff, and you played here from 93 to 97. What do you remember about your time in Colorado, Bruce?
It was just a great experience. I mean, the fans, the town, the ownership group welcomed us, made us feel like family, made our families feel welcome, and everything we did was brand new. It was the first pitch, the first home run, the first stolen base. Everything was new and exciting, and everybody had Rockies fever.
You just had a chance to go do some autographs out on the concourse with fans. Were fans excited to come up and see you guys again 20 years later?
There were a few fans that remembered the 20 years ago, obviously, and then there was a couple that came up. That, I was 3 years old. What position did you play? They didn't remember because they were so young. But there was a lot of people that remembered the '93 and they were at opening day in Mile High Stadium.
You got to bring most of your family out. One of your sons is in the Mariners organization. How much fun is it to watch through your eyes now, having gone through that experience, watch his experience growing up through that organization?
Very nerve-wracking. I know the things that he's going through, and he's got to learn it and figure it out on his own. I'm there for him if he seeks out my advice or any words of wisdom that I can give him along the way. But it's just an experience that he's got to do it on his own.
Bruce, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend with everyone else. Guys?
All right, Jenny, thanks much. Bruce Ruffin, 60 saves in a Rockies uniform, which is 4th in franchise history. That's rifled foul. 3-2 count now on Nick Hundley. His son Chance, a product of the University of Texas.
#1 draft pick, then traded to Seattle, and unfortunately this spring got a case of the wildness. Was sent back to AAA, but had a chance to make their big league roster coming out of spring training. Saw time in the big leagues a year ago with Seattle, and I think a little bit with the Toronto Blue Jays. Not sure.
And the second walk allowed by John Garland, so a leadoff base runner here in the 5th inning. Tyson Ross coming up. First question, our Toyota Talk inning. If you got to a historic ballpark, what would it be? If you could, I guess it should be, if you could get to it, an historic ballpark, what would it be? Well, we are very fortunate as we get to overtime to see every ballpark in baseball. My favorite, George, is Fenway.
For me, I wish this is one of those deals where you say you wish walls could talk. I'd like to go back and resurrect Forbes Field and let it talk. Go back to some of those old ones. But as we travel around now, Fenway, the old Yankee Stadium, I like going back there.
Well, you can't.
I said in the old ballpark, I'd like to go back there. I like going to the new one too. Fenway, Wrigley Field, special places in the game of baseball.
My father grew up going to the Polo Grounds. I think that so many of those old ballparks, it's neat to read about them, but we're so familiar now with the modern amenities that you may be really disappointed.
Well, but but I mean, I'll say this too. When I walk into Fenway, it's for me. It's like when I walk in there and I'm like, I'm standing on the same ground as Yaz did. Of course, I played against Yaz, but I mean, you're thinking of the great history
Ted
of
Williams.
the game. Yeah, Ted Williams. You walk across the field, and did he walk across here? And you can feel those ghosts around you, so to speak, in the game of baseball. And that's the part of the game for me, with all the new venues out there, that some of that history's gone away. And to think, what is it? Coors Field's 3rd oldest park in the National League. I'm like, really? Come on. Because, I mean, this place is spotless every day. It looks like a brand new ballpark when you walk in here.
It really does. One of the neat things about Fenway Park, and we'll be there again this summer, is going inside the Green Monster and seeing where the wall is autographed by Babe Ruth and Ted Williams, and visiting greats from yesteryear. Strike 3, and Ross is gone. He didn't even realize Gary Darling had called him out. That's the 2nd strikeout for John Garland. That'll bring up Everett Cabrera. Ground ball to short, ground ball to second. Tied at 1 in the 5th inning.
I want to clean something up real quick. Chance Rumpin was drafted as 48th pick by the Detroit Tigers. Got to the big leagues with the Tigers, traded over to Seattle, and got to big leagues with Seattle for 13 games, and now is pitching in AAA.
Are the bullpen catchers considered part of the active roster? That's from Kyle in Billings, Montana. No, Kyle, their job is they do a lot of squatting and catching
batting
guys
practice.
up.
A lot of batting practice. Yep. Pat does an awful lot of batting practice at times you never see, which are back in the cages at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and players are struggling. A lot of times after the game, they'll grab him and go in the cage for 25, 30 swings in the cage right after a ball game. So his workday starts early and goes late, typically. And if a guy's supposed to throw, they say, well, you got to get a bullpen today if you don't get in the game. Well, that means when the 3rd out in the 9th and you're winning by quite a bit, then you're catching a guy.
Mark Strittmatter, who for a long time was the Rockies bullpen catcher, is now a roving catching instructor in the organization.
Glad to have him back.
Absolutely. He's terrific with young catchers. And Stritty spent a couple of years on the coaching staff of Clint Hurdle in Pittsburgh. When Mark went with Clint, that's when Pat was hired.
That's tough.
This is
maybe
tough.
not. Boy, nice job.
Yeah,
Well, he's got there in a hurry.
Fortunately, it got to Rutledge the way Cabrera runs. Who's the Rockies' best first baseman of all time? Is it the big cat or Todd Helton?
Well, I'm partial. We watched Helton for 17 years, set up here, put up the numbers he has. It's tough to discount that, although Galarraga was a great player in his own right. And a lot of damage done after he left here.
Yeah, I just think in terms of time served, you have to give the nod to 17.
Well, it's funny because you asked Todd, yeah, I know they tried to get you to play left field, and he goes, oh, I never wanted to do that when he came up because there were some thoughts about him, Galarraga at first, Todd in left. Can we make this thing work? And it wasn't going to work.
A little conversation between Tulowitzki and Garland, how they're going to work Venable. 2 outs, Venable a double in the 1st inning, and a ground ball to Todd Helton in the 3rd. And they go away soft, and they get a swinging strike, 0-1.
Way up on top of the curveball. And it's the arm speed and the delivery and positioning of the ball and the aggressiveness of a young hitter chasing. Good job of blocking the baseball, too.
Last year hit 264. Kind of an interesting split for Venable because he would start against righties and would rarely start against lefties, but often would come in the game later on either as a pinch hitter or a defensive replacement. When he started, George, he hit 279, which is very solid. Off the bench, 108.
I never really did understand why he didn't get an opportunity on an everyday basis, even with a left-hander on the mound. Plays a very solid outfield, can play all 3 outfield positions. He's got speed on the base path.
What's your favorite moment in Rockies history?
Seeing Todd's hands in the air at first base, knowing you're going to the World Series, is pretty special.
Yeah, you know what? It's really hard not to keep pointing at moments in that 3-week run. And
a lot of those moments pointed at 17.
Yeah, they really did. It started with his home run off Saito. What an amazing electric time. High pop-up in the middle of the infield. Tulowitzki calling, he's got it. And John Garland is through 5 innings of baseball. 1-1 the score. See if the Rockies can get after Ross when we come back. This is brought to you by the Ford Focus. It's 40 miles per gallon of pure fun. Start more than a car. Ford Focus. Go further. By Honey Smoked Fish Company. Secrets in the fire. It's a ready-to-eat superfood. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pretty night for baseball in the Mile High City. The Rockies and the Padres tied at 1, bottom of the 5th inning, top of the order for the Rockies. Fowler, Rutledge, Gonzalez, and Tyson Ross. As that first pitch fouled off right at the plate. And it's 0-1 on Dexter. He had a base hit in the first, struck out in the second inning. Ow!
That hurts. It's not so much on the ankle as it is on the shin. You'll have a bag of ice walking around after the game, I can tell you that.
And he went right back in there again.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep. He'll also have a protective device on that lower leg next time we see him, I'm sure. Leadoff hitters, on-base percentage, minimum of 50 games last year. Dexter Fowler, you know, if you're above 35%, it's looked upon as really good. Dexter, not far from 40% of the time reaching, because he will take a walk.
Yeah, he will.
Oh-2.
Just remember, so many times Dexter Fowler would chase that ball, you know, out of the zone. You know, slider down and in, swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss, and his hands were really high, and they lowered those hands down. Ever since that happened, you're not going to sneak it by him too many times in there.
Dante Bichette, keep it simple. He'll show Heater away. It's 1-2. The last pitch is 90th of the ball game.
Honestly, as fast as he was climbing and that pitch count was climbing like that, I didn't think we'd see him here in the 5th. But still holding velocity. I mean, he's thrown some sliders up to 88, but this at 84. 59 and 32 as far as his ball strike ratio out of those 91 pitches thrown.
Tell you what, George, last night, opening game of a homestand, opening game of a weekend set. How big is it? You get 6 strong from your starter, then 2 good innings from Ottavino. Bedcourt does his thing in an efficient 9th inning. Your bullpen is rested for the weekend, where so often we see, man, bullpens get beat up on a Friday night and you're scrambling. This guy's not available, that guy's not available by the time Sunday rolls around.
Well, that's the big key to it. That's why a lot of people don't like to come into Coors Field, because they get their bullpens beat up in here, and then it affects them out for the next 3 or 4 games after you leave here, as it does the Rockies. But if Jeff Francis doesn't go out and do what he did last night, and that is pitch like he did in 2007, I mean, this guy was pretty good. The Rockies bullpen quiet, as it should be in a 1-1 ball game. When you are assigned and you know your role pretty much, if you're in that 6th, 7th, 8th inning role right now, things start to get a little quiet. You might be setting with somebody, but there's not a lot of conversation going on. It's more about getting your mental frame and getting prepared to go out and pitch in that ball game.
Brock Cashner up for San Diego. 3-2, ball 4. How about that at bat? Behind 0-2 and hobbling around on a sore ankle. And Dexter, a leadoff walk here in the 5th.
For the best ticket values in the ballpark, purchase one of the mini plans. They're available for 15 or 20 games. It is a great way to get to see Rockies baseball, Major League Baseball, 303 Rockies or Rockies.com.
Rutledge is 0 for 2. He scored the Rockies' only run, reached on a fielder's choice in the first, came around on a Kadire base hit. The Rockies have only 3 hits. Dexter single, a Kadire single, and a Tulowitzki infield single. Good swing by Rutledge.
One thing that may happen, and people at home may go, really? thinking about this, you don't see a lot of hit and run with a lineup that has power and has the opportunity, because you don't want to run yourself out of an inning, have a strikeout or a throw, swing and miss, throw out, or hit into a line drive double play. But sometimes against certain individuals, it's not a bad idea when you got a right side open like this and a guy that can handle the bat, put people in motion, try to get you a first and third situation with the middle of that lineup coming up.
Dex takes off and on the grab deep in the hole, not handled by Cabrera. And George, it may have been exactly that, a hit and run, and Cabrera, because he knows Rutledge can run, in his haste did not field it cleanly.
Second time in the middle of a ball game for Cabrera that he has not made a play that needed to be made. I mean, that's going to end up a base hit for Rutledge. Bud Black's the one walking to the mound right now. You're going to look at him go over and try to backhand the ball, just kind of short-armed it there at the very end, head off of the glove. It ends up costing the Padres.
See, I think that's got to be an error. They haven't scored it yet.
Yeah, kind of over into the hole. You have speed going into second, speed going to first. I mean, all those things are going to be factored into it. I like what Bud Black's doing right now. He's looking at his young pitcher in the eye, saying, you got a 1-1 ball game here. I'm going to go to the bullpen. You did a decent job for me. Your pitch count climbed up on us. He's talking to Hundley, the catcher. Starting to judge his stuff. Is it getting a little short? What's it doing?
It will be an error on Cabrera. Brock will be coming into the game when we return. Cargo with 2 men on and nobody out in a 1-1 game. Fowler, Rutledge just reached on an error. 2 on for Carlos Gonzalez. He'll face Brad Brock here in a moment. Thanks for texting in your questions. As always, to Toyota Talk. For more answers to your questions, visit the Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRN. Tracy Ringlesby standing by to answer some questions. There's
all the boys are hanging out. Look at them. Where's Allison? There she is.
On the far left.
Yeah.
Huey Holton Court up there. Brad Brock making his 3rd appearance, did a very nice job last year for San Diego. They always come up with guys out of the bullpen. League hit just 207 against him last year.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Josh Burns has a little different appreciation for having a good bullpen.
This is softly hit shallow center. It's going to drop. And around third, here comes Dexter. He got a good read. RBI single. Rockies lead 2-1. Great read by Dexter Fowler. Taking a look around, knowing where the outfielders are positioned, and understanding the depth of the outfield at Coors Field.
Well, you gotta know who's hitting too. I mean, it's Carlos Gonzalez who normally hits the ball. If it's on the line, it's hard. It's going to have a chance at the plate. If it's in the air, typically it's fairly deep in a ballpark. So you've got to respect his power and his ability to hit a line drive. And with a very big swing, Cameron Maven's first move was not in. It was more to the side, and that's all due to the swing of Gonzalez. It allowed that run to fly in here for Fowler.
Here's Tulowitzki. Still nobody out. Outside ball one. There's the baseball gods for you. Cargo. Everybody got robbed yesterday on a bullet to deep right field. A nice catch made out there by Chris DeNorfia. Carlos Gomez went over the wall to take a home run away in Milwaukee.
Things even out in this game when you're a great player. You'll get your hits back. You'll get your RBIs back.
Here's the 1-0. We're talking about good arms have wandered into the San Diego bullpen through the years. Brad Brock was a 42nd round pick out of Monmouth.
And somebody continued to give him a chance. Somebody gave him a shot in Double-A. And then he moved his way up to the big league level and has done a good job, as you mentioned a year ago. Across the body, 12 to about 14 inches. That adds to the deception. But I started to say before that base hit, Josh Burns put together a bullpen in Arizona that he said it can be by committee. We don't really need that big a bullpen. Well, obviously, when they blew about 18 saves that year, it changed the perception by him and their organization. When he got the job in San Diego, it was a priority to put together a good bullpen.
1-2 on Troy. Kadire on deck. Well, look what Detroit already. They re-signed Valverde to a minor league deal after they blew a ninth inning game. Bruce Rondon is the guy they wanted to take over. He throws about 111 miles an hour. They had to send him out after
He couldn't get anybody out in spring training. He was walked a lot of people.
This ball's driven to right, and it's going to drop. Good read by Rutledge. Trying to go first to third's Cargo. He will. And now Tulo's hung up. And he's tagged out by Cabrera. Rockies up 3-1. Gonzalez at third. Tulowitzki with his 7th RBI. And just like Fowler before him, Rutledge got a good read off the bat on the fly to that baseball.
A line drive. I mean, he's hesitated just enough to see that this ball's going to drop, and it was softly hit. Venable made the choice to go all the way to third base. That's when Tulowitzki, jogging into first base, thought, I'll turn it up and try to get into second base. And unfortunately, Cabrera could run a little bit, and he was able to get Tulo off at first base. It was a job well done for Tulo. A run driven in to third. There's a look at Rutledge's jump right here, and you can see that Stu's sending him to the house in a hurry. He's telling Gonzalez to get down.
Inside on Kadire, 1-1 count, infield in, with the Padres now trailing by a couple of runs here in the bottom of the 5th. Kadire drove in the first Rockies run with a line single to right. And this gets by for a moment. Cargo will stay put. Nick Hundley is diving all over the place. Been a hockey goalie tonight.
He's had a lot. When you have velocity, you have balls in the dirt an awful lot. This just a fastball that's misplaced. They want to come to the inside and shot it about 2.5 feet to the outside. I think you'll see a lot of guys trying to score on balls all the way to the backstop here. They're going to have to be kind of a feel-out period until they can feel how much distance, how quick can you get back there. I mean, you're not talking too many big steps to get to the back and get the baseball.
Well, you know what's changed, George, and you saw this when you played at Wrigley Field. When you have bricks back there, sometimes you get the pitchback effect.
Well, it's happened here before where it's hit those bricks and shot right back, and the catcher made a play at the plate.
Kadire loops one to right. Venable coming on. He's got to play it on a hop. And the Rockies have 3 soft singles that have all driven in a run. Come on down, Carlos Gonzalez. 4-1, Colorado. Second ribby of the night for Kadire, his 5th of the year.
Well, you take him any way you can, and ever since Brock came in, soft serve, soft serve, soft serve, RBI, RBI, RBI. Kadire picks up his 5th on the season on a ball up, just trying to go to the opposite field and drive it deep enough. Instead, it falls in short enough. Todd Helton with a long drive into left center field that may have been chased down in his last at bat. Fastball at 92 in the upper half and on the corner. Bud Black looking back at a play at shortstop. Good they had made the play, an error was given. That play gets made, change the perspective of this inning, just as it would have last night's ball game.
Yeah, opened up the floodgates last night. Last night, the difference was Cabrera misplayed what would have been the final out of an inning. This one, it would have been the first out. Who knows what happens if he makes that play. Rockies have taken advantage. 0-2 on Todd. Well, that was a drop and drive swing right there.
Yeah, he got something he could take a hack at. That's when he's feeling good too. You can tell that in Helton's swing. You see that thing, that back leg drop and everything spin around. There's some bat speed to it. The hip and the back feel pretty good.
Strike 3. Second out as Brock freezes Helt, and that'll bring up Rosario.
Perfect pitch. Just came inside. Now you're going outside on the outside corner. And Gary Darling rang it.
Fouls off this pitch into the upper deck. 0 for 1 and a walk tonight for the Rockies catcher. Close the book on Tyson Ross. 4+ innings. He gives up 3 runs. 2 earned.
Well, 3 hits.
One, two. Maben in center field will have it. Rockies come up with 3 runs in the 5th inning. Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, Michael Kadire, the big RBI man, all coming through. And the Rockies up 4-1 as we go to the 6th.
with a 4-1 lead over the Padres. It's a celebration of the 1993 team, and I'm with their starting shortstop from that year, Freddie Benavidez. How much fun has this weekend been, just to see some of your old teammates? And of course, you're still involved in baseball, so I know you probably keep in touch with quite a few.
Yeah, it's been a blast. It's been outstanding to be here with all my guys, all the ex-teammates of mine, seeing them. Basically, for some of the guys, 20 years. I've seen some of them over the past years because I'm still involved with the game. But it's been fun. It's been great.
Yeah, involved with the Reds organization. I'm not sure how much of your travels have brought you to Colorado, but how impressed are you with the way Rockies fans have stuck with the organization over the course of 20 years, back from those 80,000 that used to come in 1993?
All honesty, this is one of my favorite places, coming here. I came here 2 years ago with Cincinnati. I traveled with the big club. We came here and I just it felt like I was home. It's weird, it just feels, the crowd, the fans, they love their teams here, and they support their pro ball clubs, and it's a great place to play.
Now, you're a coordinator in the minor league system for the Reds. How has baseball life been treating you since your playing days and now as a coach?
Well, I can't complain. It's been outstanding. Right now, like I said, I'm running I'm the field coordinator for the Cincinnati Reds, and in charge basically a lot of the minor league instruction. So it's been good, and especially with our big club doing so good. And a lot of those guys are homegrown talent, which we call from the minor leagues, and all have come up and helped the Reds have success.
Freddie, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you. Freddie Benavidez. So good to see so many of these guys coming back to town for the 20th anniversary celebration. And we had Bruce Ruffin on earlier today. That's a little low. No, it's called strike. 2-2. Carlos Quentin leading off here in the 6th inning. Yonder Alonso and Jed Jerko on deck. And it was in the bottom portion of the 4th strike zone. Quentin doubled his last at bat. And this ball's well hit to left field, and it is off the wall. Cargo is going to have a chance at Quentin if he's on line with it. He knew it. It's another double for Quentin, and Quentin has a bad knee. And you saw how quickly Cargo fired that back in. I mean, if it's Cameron Maben, he's not that he's going to take his time, but he's going to realize he's not going to have a play on it. But with Quentin, he knows Cargo. Watch how quick he gets this, George. Cargo's already made about 4 Gold Glove plays in the opening week of the season. This is on the ground at first.
Yeah, and you see what Alonso does there. Pull the ball to the right side, nobody out, move him over. But he's in an RBI position. It's more to drive in Quentin, particularly at this part of the ball game. Tell you what, John Garland has just been so impressive. When he did get in that little jam, 1st and 3rd, nobody out, ground ball got an out, 1st and 3rd run. He let the 1 run in, but I'm not getting killed in the inning. I'm not going to give up 4 or 5 runs. That's what separates these guys that are sinker ball pitchers. They figure out a way to minimize damage.
Jed Jerko, rookie out of West Virginia. 1 for 1 and a walk, and this will get the run home. Now it's 4-2 as Quentin scores. 2nd RBI for Jerko. Escalona's up in the Rockies bullpen, and here's the birthday boy, Alexi Amarista, 24 today. Happy birthday.
Well, if you're out on the road just like the Rockies do, there's times you can subscribe to MLB.TV to see every Rockies game, out-of-market game, online and on your favorite devices in HD quality when you're not at home. Well, part of the neat deal about the MLB TV package, you can go back and archive and watch a ball game from a week ago, 10 days ago, whenever the season gets farther along. You pull out a game, watch it. Certain plays you might have seen.
It's a pretty good looking play by 33-year-old John Garland. Amarista trying to take the bunt with him. And Garland gets him at first base. In the inning, a leadoff double by Quentin. He would come around and score. It's a 4-2 ball game, bottom of 6. Big play in the game. Runners at first and third. And a ground ball to second. The Rockies would turn over a 4-6-3 double play on Cameron Maben, who can really run. And that kept the ball game tied at 1. That was a bases loaded, nobody out situation. The Padres would get only 1 run. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Dale Thayer, veteran right-hander, is now in the ball game for San Diego. The Rockies have Chris Nelson, and then we'll see on John Garland, Dexter Fowler after that. Nelly tonight walked in the second inning, got all the way to third base, and grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up.
What happened to Thayer? He looked like Yosemite Sam. Now he looks like Jeremiah Johnson. Remember, he's the one that had the big handlebars down last year. Let the beard grow out. Still got that unorthodox delivery that he can let it fly at 92 to 96, 97 miles an hour. Did a good job last year for this Padre ball club. Matt Belisle started to throw in the Rockies bullpen. That's a pretty good indication to me that it's night's over. And what a job Garland did. 12 ground ball outs, just what the doctor ordered.
Three 3-0 on Nelson. And a 4-pitch walk. And Johnny Herrera will get his first at bat of the season. You know what? Let me correct that. Johnny did have an at bat in Milwaukee. It'll be his second at bat of the season. So terrific job for John Garland. And George, another quality start. 4 out of 5 now.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. Just get me in the 6th inning. Give us a chance to get a lead for you. And tonight the ball hasn't necessarily left the yard. They did a lot of small ball blue pits in the 1 inning. They put a 3 spot on the board. But you know what? You take advantage of stuff. And John Garland, the veteran, did a veteran's job tonight. And that guy standing right behind him, Jeff Francis, the 2 old-timers left, right, 200 wins between them. It's pretty fun to watch these guys. I know for John Garland, after missing an entire year of baseball and being on the top of his game, we showed you that graphic earlier of the most winningest pitchers, so 2 to 09, and there's some pretty heady names on that list with Halladay, Sabathia. To be a part of that group, Roy Oswalt in his prime, and to come back after missing a year and pitch the way he's pitching right now, it's pretty special.
Big jump for Nelly, hit and run. The out recorded by Alonso. So Johnny Herrera got the ball in play. Chris Nelson at second base, 1 out, and here comes Fowler. Let's check in with Jenny Cavnar again. Jenny?
Hey guys, for Dexter Fowler, leading the team in home runs right now, hitting .350. That's a long way from where he started in the minor leagues, according to third base coach Stu Cole, who's now, or who used to be, I should say, a manager for the Sky Sox.
When I first saw him, he was just starting to learn how to hit left-handed. He's always been pretty much a right-handed hitter when I first saw him. But, you know, see how far he's come and how much more patient he is from the left side and how he has some class and power with that swing. I mean, it's very impressive to see. And, you know, he's gotten stronger. His body is filled out. And, you know, he's just consistent with that swing right now, more so than ever I've ever seen it.
It's really the power that impressed manager Walt Weiss as well. He knew Dexter was athletic, and in fact, that's what Dante Bichette and Walt Weiss have encouraged Dexter to do, is take an athletic approach at the plate. Not so much messing or working with his mechanics, but just saying straight up, you're an athlete, go do what you do.
And he's behind 0-2 now. Thanks, Jenny. The club leader in home runs with 3. Strike 3.
Yeah, been a few arguments. Quentin arguing a little bit. Gary Darling just kind of looking forward.
That's in the zone, in the 4th strike zone.
Upper half of the strike zone.
2 outs. See if Josh Rutledge can pick up his buddy Dexter Fowler. Garland only 75 pitches through 6 innings. And if you're wondering, well, why not let him come out? It's the bottom of the order coming up. Even though it's been a year and a half, he's coming off shoulder surgery.
Well, they said he did what you wanted him to do. He gave you 6 innings.
Yeah.
He gave the lead. You got a bullpen like you do. Use it.
Take your time with him.
You know, just, well, not only that. I mean, you know what? When he's working like he's worked tonight, with all the ground ball outs and everything else, I mean, hey, he did what you're being asked to do. Nice hustle. Too bad, just a little short for Rutledge. He can fly, folks.
Amarista throws him out. Nelson left at second. We move on to the 7th. Rockies up 4-2. By the McDonald's new Premium McWrap. I'm loving it. 5th inning. The Rockies broke up a 1-1 ball game. Soft single center. Carlos Gonzalez. Dexter Fowler would score. Troy Tulowitzki. And a punch to single to right. Josh Rutledge would score. And Michael Kadire in on the hands. And he drops one in front of Will Venable to bring home cargo. Rockies got a 4-1 advantage at that point. It now stands at 4-2, top of the 7th inning. And the Rockies, after 6 strong from John Garland, handed off to Mr. Reliable Matt Belisle.
A couple of shutout innings over in Milwaukee, 2 1/3 so far on this season. Just a hit given up, 1 strikeout, no walks. That's pretty typical of Mr. Belisle because he is going to attack the strike zone and do it with a 3-pitch mix typically. Now he started to work on a good changeup this spring, something he used as a starting pitcher early part of his career, but typically you're going to see fastball with some running tail and sink to it and a pretty good slider.
Ground ball to short. And Tulowitzki throws out Maben. Rockies fans, Root Sports has launched a new interactive second screen experience. It's called Game Control. You get live game stats and play-by-play, all kinds of cool things. Visit rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain now to connect. Nick Hundley at the plate. We were describing it yesterday. Nick went through just a miserable season last year. A lot of the offseason working with Phil Plantier, the Padres hitting coach, and he had a great spring. Ties to Colorado. Went to Fairview High School for a while. His dad's a longtime assistant football coach. He worked under Rick Neuheisel. Nick was a very good high school football player as well. He's fouled back out of play. Jesus Guzman is currently in the on-deck circle.
Last night his bench was all left-handed, and tonight he's got Kotsay Baker, Denorfia, Ransom, and Guzman on the bench for them.
Nick Hundley with a 2-2 count against Matt Belisle, a guy that he's never gotten hit against. What was leery of those stats, George?
Yeah.
Doug threw one at me earlier. What happened?
Yeah, I know, and I really didn't want you to say that, but okay, you already did. The Rocks bullpen coming into this 4 ball games total now that the club has played.
He's 0 for 13.
Yeah, go ahead and add on to it. 13 and 2/3 innings added on now. You can say 14 and 1/3. 11 strikeouts, just 3 walks and a 329 earned run average. The really only hiccup in this whole deal for them is Wilton Lopez. Good hard sinker right here. Really stayed behind it and drove it on the inner corner.
Looks like Andrew Kashner will be the next pitcher for San Diego.
Matt Belisle really controls the pace and rhythm of a ball game. Catch and throw, get right back on the rubber, get my sign. You just don't ever really feel comfortable as a hitter against Matt. Four for 6, pretty good numbers. Maybe that's why his number was picked. Obviously, to get up there, face Matt.
Three balls and a strike. Auto glass damage. Call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000. Online at safelight.com.
Yeah, not what you want to do. 2-run lead. You don't want to walk anybody and then flip over to the top half of that lineup. Go right at them. And that's kind of the mentality you got to have coming out of the bullpen. Unfortunately, does not get that sinker called, and it's ball 4.
2 outs. Cabrera will hit.
And Jimmy Wright making a lot of mental notes about the matchup and what's going on. I believe that's Jorge De La Rosa sitting next to him, watching and seeing what to do. Conversations will start happening now between Tommy Runnels and Walt Weiss. Where do we go next if he gets on, or do we stay where we are? This is our 7th inning guy.
Cabrera was originally a Rule 5 selection. Had an A ball off the Rockies roster. And he's been up and down throughout his career. Slowly hit to help to Belisle. And Matt got the foot on the bag first. Well executed. They call that PFP's, pitcher fielding practice. You do a whole lot of it in March. 4-2 Colorado.
Do occasionally on the Fraser Farm Report. We'll take a look at that lineup last night. I like this lineup with the Sky Sox. Look at all the major league experience sitting there. Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Ryan Wheeler is a first baseman that came over from Arizona. You got the youngster Nolan Arenado, who had 3 for 5, 3 for 3 yesterday with a home run, his second. Today 3 for 6. He had a double, drove in a run today as the Sky Sox 1-15. Matt McBride, Charlie Culberson. There is a bunch waiting in the wings to get here in Colorado. They get up to the big leagues in Colorado. They're in Colorado. Not including that pitching staff down there. Pomeranz struck out 9 today in 5 1/3 innings. Last night, Chatwood was good. Friedrich very good on opening night.
Here's Carlos Gonzalez against hard-throwing Andrew Cashner. Strike one. Cashner will run his fastball up above 100 miles an hour at times. He was scheduled to be in the rotation, except he had a thumb injury, a severed tendon from a hunting accident. You say, well, what happened? You go hunting with Bobby Knight? No. What happened is he was dressing some meat with a friend and evidently sliced a tendon in his thumb, but he returned about 3 or 4 weeks quicker than they thought he would get back. And they're utilizing him right now, George, in the bullpen, but eventually you'll probably see Cashner back in the rotation.
Well, I would think so. I mean, this is a really big arm. I mean, this guy can really let it fly, can work deep into the games.
2-1 on Cargo. 2-2 on Gonzalez. Cashner picked up out of the Cubs organization. There's Rex Brothers. Cashner going to the same hairstyling salon, obviously, as Dale Thayer.
facial hair.
Yeah, grooming.
Well, you come out of the bullpen. I remember one year I grew up here in Chicago, but I was doing so bad I didn't want anybody to recognize me. Get tired of getting yelled at. But a lot of guys want that look coming out of the bullpen, intimidating type look. Pretty good athlete, though. He got over the first and hurt.
Cargo retired, 3-1. Troy Tulowitzki, 2 for 3 tonight coming up. Cashner was the guy that Josh Burns got back in the Anthony Rizzo deal with the Cubs. Rizzo had a big spring.
He did have a big spring, and he played in the WBC also. Swung the bat fairly well in there for the Italian team.
It just goes to show you, George, how March numbers don't always translate. I was looking a few moments ago, checking in on some scores. Brandon Belton's yet to get a hit this year, and you couldn't get him out in March.
Well, the thing is, too, I mean, you can get fooled by numbers early in spring training when you got some top prospects facing A-ball and AA and some AAA guys, and then all of a sudden when the boys show up the last 2 weeks and they're working to get fine-tuned, that's when you can really find out pretty quick where guys are, both hitters and pitchers.
Here's a 2-0 on Troy. Nope, 3-0. Off the plate, ball 4, 1 out walk. That's the 6th walk the Rockies have been the recipients of in this ball game. 4 by the starter Tyson Ross. Dale Thayer walked 1. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, make your way to Taco Bell the following day between 4 and 6 for the Rockies Taco Special. And if you'd like to receive text message alerts, text the keyword taco to 720-720. This ball's well hit to right field by Kadire, and it's gone. It snuck over the wall right next to the scoreboard. Michael Kadire's 2nd jack of the year. And the Rockies extend the lead to 6-2.
You mentioned those 6 walks. That's the 2nd one to come around and score. And Kadire with the big fly. Yeah, the harder you throw it, the harder they can travel at times. And Cashner went after him and tried to throw some power at it. It just took off out of this park right into that corner. Missed hitting the auxiliary scoreboard by a couple of feet.
Yeah, Venable's getting ready to play it off the wall. And it missed the big wall, fortunately, and snuck into the bullpen.
I see high fastball again. And, you know, again, Kadire, about 6'6" at the most, is a very good high ball hitter. Watch the flight, just what Drew's talking about. Venable knows he's not going to have a play. I'm going to play it off of that wall, and it just went right down the wall and hugged it.
Gone again. That's the 2nd time he has struck out in the ball game.
Those big numbers. You were talking about March numbers not translating into April. Right now, Todd's struggling a little bit with the swing. He's hit some balls very, very hard, just right at people. Look at that high drive, and then the front stiff front side, the leg drive on the back by Kadire. Getting on top of that baseball. Didn't get under, got on top of it.
You know you throw hard when you throw a changeup at 88. He went right back to it. It's 1-1. A lot of respect for Rosario's ability to hit the fastball being exhibited here in the opening few days of the season.
Yeah, I think he's going to see more and more of that too. I think he's going to see an awful lot of breaking balls as you go forward for guys that have them and are comfortable throwing it in the right place.
Shows him 97 now. See if he goes back to the changeup.
I don't care if you throw 127. Rosario can hit the fastball and he can turn it around.
There's Kadire. How about Michael? 9 for his last 15. Couple of home runs, 7 RBIs.
Add to those RBIs you're just talking about. 5 times in his career he's had 5 RBIs in a game. 14 times he's had 4 in a ball game. Impressive.
4 ribbies tonight. Here's the 3-2. Strike 3. And Willie knew it. Andrew Kastner is taken downtown by Michael Kadire. 4 ribby night for Kadire, 6-2 Rockies. On a 6-2 8th inning lead. What's next is brought to you by CenturyLink. What's next is the pitching matchup tomorrow. Edinson Volquez against Jolice Chassin. So it's the beginning of the second time through the rotation for both teams. Chassin threw a terrific ball game in Milwaukee. Did not get a decision. 1 run on just 3 hits. Working well into the 7th inning. And Edinson Volquez was hit pretty hard by the New York Mets in his opening day assignment. 4th outing now for Rex Brothers.
Yeah, that left-hander getting after it early in the season, obviously. Got to get used to the workload, and he's going to get greeted with a ball into the gap in left center field. Dexter will give chase when they try to make it into a triple. No, you're down 6-2. No reason to do that.
So Chris DeNorfia pinch hitting with first pitch double.
You know, you wondered why maybe Bud Black sat around and waited and didn't use any of those left-handers he had, or right-handed bats, to go against the right-handed thrower in Belisle. Simple reason, he's going to start doing some straight-across switching here with DeNorfia. He'll go to right now, preventable. Take a behind-the-scene tour of Coors Field. It's a great deal. You can do it either with a whole lot of people or you do it all by yourself. Doesn't matter. Tickets are available. 303 Rockies, and take a tour of this beautiful, beautiful ballpark.
This could be playable for help, and then again it may not be. Ball got a little squirrely when it hit the dirt. See that? Good pickup by Tulowitzki.
A whole bunch of rotation, hesitation at second. Adorpia doesn't cross over. What Drew's talking about, a couple of hop, and then all of a sudden that ball kind of kicked to the right side on the glove side of Tulowitzki. Made the play anyway.
Yonder Alonso fouls it out of play. Alonso a single back in the fourth inning, 1 for 3. Rockies up 6-2. Two-strike count. That hard slider handled by Rosario. Denorfi is at second. Rockies up by 4 runs. 1 out in the 8th inning. Jed Jerko is on deck. And Tulowitzki another chance. There's a patented across the body throw. He throws on the run from various arm angles better than any shortstop I think I've ever seen.
It's the arm strength that allows him to do it. But you can see that twist, turn, and everything else too. That groin area, you don't even think about it anymore.
But George, I mean, he's always supremely accurate with it also.
Well, if you practice it, you're going to be pretty good at it. Trust me. He practices that an awful lot.
Coming into the season, he's tied with the great Omar Vizquel, and I mean great Omar Vizquel for the all-time fielding percentage lead among shortstops. Omar finally shutting it down. Jimmy Rollins has a house full of gold gloves also. Brother Rex on the mound. 1-1 count on Jed Jerko. And the fastball is blooped to shallow right, and Kadire can't make the catch. Jerko is going to head to second with a bloop RBI double, and it's 6-3.
Yeah, we got 1 runner on the field now. We're just going to have to wait around a minute.
That's a good tackle.
You know what, Bud? I want to tell you, that little 80-yard run you just had really is not going to be worth it. I don't know who dared you, but it ain't going to be fun.
Well, I think it was appropriate that he made that dash when Jed Jerko was at the plate.
Right here on the ball that just out of the reach of Kadire, would have been better served, but with 2 outs and the lead the way it is. And we saw Kadire over in Milwaukee make a great catch on this. The only thing you fear after that is injury to the wrist after diving on it. Kadire's up and doing well. So now Rex Brothers try to clean this inning up. It's 6-3 now. The Rockies up by 3. Cody Ransom, who does have power at the minor league level that has not transpired to this big league level. Yet you got to respect it as a pitcher. Make sure you make your pitches with 2 outs here in the 8th.
And especially the hustle by Jerko getting a second. You throw out another hit, and all of a sudden you're talking about a 2-run game. You could see we had the shot of Kadire, and he nodded at somebody in the bullpen, and you know what the question was from the bullpen: are you okay? And he plays a game that has for years only one way. He goes all out. That's a big reason, and his presence in the clubhouse, his tradition of driving in a lot of runs. Why the Rockies broke from their recent tradition and paid a pretty hefty sum for the free agent a year ago, Michael Kadire.
His leadership, too, what he brings to the table, and that all goes along with what Drew's saying about how he plays the game. It rubs off. It's infectious.
Two and one on Ransom. Got it. Rex Brothers punches out Ransom. He does give up a run in the inning. But we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with Colorado ahead of San Diego 6-3. Over the Padres, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Chris Nelson will lead it off. Andrew Kashner is on the hill for his 2nd inning of work. And Nelly takes strike 1. Jordan Pacheco in the on-deck circle. Defensive changes for San Diego with All the pinch hitting to Northview for Venable in right field. Jed Jerko moves from third base to second base. That's a strike, 1 and 2. And Cody Ransom's now at third. And Nelly hits it on the ground at Cabrera. Stay connected this season by following Root Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We want to hear from you as the Rockies kick off the 2013 season. Get online. Tell us your favorite part of opening day. Well, with the first out being recorded, Walt Weiss has called back Jordan Pacheco, and he'll go to a table setter in Eric Young Jr. Typical of Sundays. We'll see a couple of changes in the lineup tomorrow. Obviously, Helton will not be in there. Pacheco will start, I'm sure. We'll see Torey Alba after 2 straight games with Rosario, more than likely. Nothing definite. Or you may wait with Torey Alba, actually, George, because they have stated that they desire, not necessarily all the time, but at least initially, to have Torey Alba catch De La Rosa, who will open that series in San Francisco.
Well,
so you may see Rosario tomorrow.
Sure. And it hasn't been a difficult game to catch, to be honest with you. I mean, Garland had 12 ground ball outs. Belisle had 2. 14.
Down the line, that's a foul ball. Wow. Close.
16 of the 24 outs in this game have been on the ground. So, it had been a difficult game to call. A lot of early outs, too. Not a lot of pitches called. It is foul, just barely. Yeah, you'd like to see that fair. Just see how far EY could have gone. Watch him chase it. You get one in the corner here at Coors Field, and it takes off and makes that hard left turn. I'm betting on EY.
2 and 2.
Getting loose, coming in, getting prepared to do the 9th inning. Threw that ball by EY there.
Third strikeout for Cashner. He got him on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
First Purple Monday, it's coming up April the 15th. Wear purple, win prizes, including autographed items. And the first 10,000 are going to receive a Rockies purple t-shirt. I'm getting here early.
You always do.
I know, but I'm going to get here real early so I can get a purple t-shirt. I'm going to be the first one of those 10,000 at the gate.
You're not eligible.
Oh, okay.
1 for 3 tonight, Dexter Fowler. He's hitting all 5 ball games for the Rockies. Scored a run after walking in the 5th inning. That's when the Rockies scored 3 runs. Broke up that 1-1 tie. That's another hit for Dexter. He's going to take a big turn here, and for a second, they're going to throw back, and Dexter is going to move up. You know what? They call him out. Wow, that's, come on, Bruce. You got to see that one again. I think Bruce Dreckman missed that. You got to be kidding me. He beat that. Here comes Walt Weiss. Maybe Walt's first argument. I didn't think that was close. Let's watch. Foot on the bag. Sitting on the bag. He's standing up. Bad call.
Coffee, donuts.
brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By McDonald's. Try McDonald's new Premium McWrap, a fusion of crispy or grilled chicken and fresh veggies. I'm loving it. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies 3 outs away from improving to 4-1 on the young season, and immediately following, we'll have the post-game show led by Joel Klatt out in center field. Joel, all yours.
Well, I'm still a little upset at that last call there. Dexter was clearly safe at second base. I don't know what's going on. But when we get to the Toyota postgame show, the Cuddy Man can. 3 hits for Michael Kadire, including that home run. All those RBIs. Big night for him. Plus, John Garland. Strong starting pitching so far for the Colorado Rockies during this first week of the season. We'll talk much more about John Garland. Drew, we'll also get to the clubhouse. Much more.
You always do.
I'm still upset, by the way.
You know, listen, umpires.
Look at it. Take a look at this.
Umpires miss calls.
He slid to the back of the bag. Perfectly.
He was already popping up.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a miss.
There's the best look right there.
Yeah, there's no question.
Biggest thing about that view, where's Dreckman? You can't find him anywhere. You know what? And he'll get that reviewed, too. It will be reviewed and brought to their attention. 2 for 2 save opportunities for the big right-hander. 2+ innings on the season. 1 hit given up. And 2 strikeouts. Trying to close it out here. And he'll start out with Cameron Maben.
We're talking about Amarista having a birthday today. Cameron had a birthday a couple days ago. On Thursday, turned 26.
When's your birthday? It's getting ready to happen, isn't it?
A week from, what's today, Saturday? A week from today.
Next Saturday, I'm going to be home in Oklahoma, and you're going to be on the road. I expect Jeff to get you big presents and full of surprises.
Really? Yeah. Cameron Maben pops out of 1 out. Nick Hundley coming up. Mark Kotze is going to swing the bat next. That's a strike. $31,133 at the ballpark tonight. And they've enjoyed the proceedings, I'm sure.
Golly, what a weekend this weekend here. You've got the with the Rockies games going on your home weekend series. Nuggets, Avs are both home this weekend. You got Disney on Ice across the street over here. You got the rodeo going on, which I went to last night. Missed you. Kept looking for you to ride the Cowboy. I was looking for you to come out on one of the bulls. Never saw.
I told you I had a mishap last time I was riding a horse.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. It was a Shetland pony, and you pulled your groin.
Yeah,
I remember.
You can go with the Shetland pony.
I thought you about killed yourself the way you walked in there.
This horse was like 27 hands.
Yeah, it wasn't a Clydesdale. Trust me.
Is that a big horse? 27.
But to answer your question, yes, Cowboy and I, and Mr. Belial when we watched the rodeo last night.
Here's the 1-2. And a ground ball foul.
I'm saying 31,133. Great crowd at the ball.
Yeah. Got a souvenir right there.
See, this is why I told you, you never leave the park early. You know, tell him what you might get.
High fly ball, right field, playable in front of the track for Caballo. 2 outs. Now here comes the venerable Mark Kotze to the plate. Good job pinch hitting last year. Keeping that roll. And Sage in the clubhouse for Bud Black. It's a great number, man. 301 as a career pinch hitter.
Well, he wanted to be in San Diego. That's the thing about it. He wanted to be back with his club. I'm sure some other clubs, maybe looking at it, that he could have been a little bit better benefit, maybe an American League pinch hit, DH type thing from the left side, but wanted to be here in San Diego, wanted to be with this ball club.
And this is in the air to shallow center. I don't know if Dex can get there. He can't. And sand wedge single for Mark Godse. He's laughing about it. And that'll bring up Cabrera. Two outs in the ninth inning. The Rockies ahead 6-3. Cabrera 0 for 4 tonight.
A scary guy for Betancourt, and looking at this properly, in his career, he's gone 3 for 5 and a home run.
Drops a hook on him. Godse takes off, and that pitch misses. It's 1-1. Not a stolen base. Slider changeup treatment.
3 for 5, a home run. Pretty good fastball hitter sitting up there.
Kristen Orphy on deck. Hopefully he's not involved. 2 outs. Ninth inning. Kotze at second. Good pitch. 2-2. Will-placed fastball.
Yeah, just because closers, they anticipate 99 and above because that's what a lot of guys do. But guys like Betancourt and Houston Street, it's the pinpoint control that gives them the success that they have on the field.
Crowd standing, 31,000 plus. Rockies 1 strike away. 2-2 count on Everett Cabrera. Ground ball to short. And that's the ball game. Rockies win it 6-3. They improve to 4-1. The winning pitcher, John Garland. Tyson Ross takes the loss. Betancourt already with 3 saves. And for John Garland, his first victory since April the 20th of 2011 when he was pitching for the Dodgers against the Atlanta Braves. And tonight's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery of the Game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. John Garland had the sinker going, 12 ground ball outs. He goes 6 very strong and efficient innings. Allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 2. And again, his first victory since April of 2011. Congratulations to John Garland. Career win number 133. Rockies 6, Padres 3. And they're 4-1 on the young season. Stick around. The post-game show will be most entertaining. It is next.